What's going on, guys? Jack Banks, NBA, and we are talking Knicks Summer League Game 3. So we'll start off with the positives, then we'll talk about some of the negatives. So, positives right off the bat, Tyler Kolek played his best game of the Summer League today. He finished with 21 points. He was just much more aggressive looking for his own shot today, shooting 14 times, about the same number of shot attempts he had in the first two games combined. And that aggressiveness really helped him just have a much better performance overall. He still finished with 8 assists. So it's not like he stopped passing the ball, about the same number he got the previous two games. He was just getting into the lane and just looking for his own shot versus being a little more passive the first couple of games, pardon the pun. And I felt like his just willingness to be assertive was a change in demeanor in game 3 versus the first two games. A really welcome sight to see for Kolek, who I think is going to be competing to try to get some backup minutes for the Knicks, but more likely is going to be spending time at the G League, barring injuries, etc. Then Hukporti. Man, I thought this was his best summer league game as well. I thought with Hukporti, game 1 to game 2, he got a little bit better, and then game 2 to game 3, he got more than a little bit better. Like I just felt like his aggressiveness. He had a few dunks. He had the nice and one dunk where he got the pass from Kolek and was able to finish. Like there was a lot of positives from Hukporti today where you could see him building from game 1 to game 2 and then game 2 to game 3, just rebounding the ball, playing with energy and effort. And then you see some moments where, he'll make a nice pass. He can handle the ball a little bit, but he's still got to refine those things. And you can see the time that he asked. There's the article that came out. He got some advice from Hartenstein, and you can see some elements of Hartenstein's game with Hukporti. It's not necessarily there consistently, but I like the flashes. I think he too is a guy who's going to spend a lot of time at the G League level. But depending on what happens with Precious Achua, what other bigs the Knicks bring in, he could see some time with the Knicks this season. And then let's talk about some other guys who aren't necessarily. Actually, before we get there, let's talk about Rokas Yakubitis because I thought talk about somebody having their best summer league game. He was outstanding today, and he only played 21 minutes. He was 7 of 7 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the 3-point line. But most importantly, this guy just plays at his own pace. He's got a level of confidence to his game that comes with maturity. He is 23 years old. He was drafted in 2021 by the Knicks and has spent, the past few years playing good professional basketball with Real Madrid, I believe. And so this guy, whether it's the Knicks, which I hope so, but it's hard to see exactly the roster spot for Jakobitis as of right now. We'll have to see what other moves happen this summer. But he looks like a guy who could certainly play at the next level in the NBA. Uh, just getting to his spots, he's like a mid-range assassin. That the lefty shot he's got from the mid-range is just smooth. He's got a good feel for the game. And then defensively, he's better than what you might think. He had a nice awareness play, I would say, where he poked the ball out from the big, who wasn't paying attention, and got a steal. He had a turnover, got back and blocked a shot. So you like to see that from Jakobitis. I just felt like today they gave him a little bit more minutes. He even had 5 assists today. Like there's a lot of positives from Jakobitis today. And then Dimitrios Skapintsev, I thought was good again. Not quite as good as the first couple of games, but it's hard for me to see his role at with the Knicks just because defensively, while he is a solid center in terms of guarding other bigs, when he's in the pick and roll, he's just not laterally quick enough to stay in front of some other stay in front of guards, quite frankly. And that to me is a big hindrance for bringing him in because look, whether the Knicks had Robinson, who's a bit different, or Hartenstein, both those guys are tremendous defensive centers. And Skapintsev is a good defensive center, but not great. And I just have a hard time seeing him on the Knicks in any sort of rotation capacity next season. I thought also, Damian Baugh had some flashes the first couple games, and the first half, especially today, he was hitting his shots from three. He was aggressive, just looking for his shot, and then he got downhill as well. I don't think he makes the team, but he's just a guy who maybe someone else, maybe the Nets, honestly, they have a lot of open roster spots. He could fit in there. There's a few other teams where maybe he could get a spot. I've liked the flashes from him in these two summer league games. I thought, yeah, okay, that's all the positive. Oh, one more guy for positives. I thought Justin Lewis, I think that's his first name, didn't play the first two games. I felt like he did a really good job in limited minutes, just being ready to go, ready when he got the pass to shoot pretty quickly, quick decisions. I thought he looked good overall. Hopefully, he'll get a few more minutes on Friday in the Knicks' last summer league game before they get to like the summer league playoffs. So I think I would like to see him get a few more minutes in that game when maybe some of the other guys aren't playing quite as much. But yeah, so negatives. I felt like Dwayne Washington, even though he played well games one and two, I didn't think he had a future on the Knicks. And today, he didn't shoot the ball well. He got a technical foul, and I don't see a spot for him on the Knicks roster. Maybe somewhere else, but I just don't see it with the Knicks. And then more importantly, Pacome Dadier, who I felt like had a lot of flashes in games one and two, specifically game two, definitely took a few steps back in this game. He just wasn't aggressive like he was the first couple games. Maybe that was something that the coaching staff talked to him about, trying to fit in a little bit more versus looking for his own shot. But I felt like his aggressiveness and just even though he wasn't making his shots, just his willingness to just keep going the first two games was a positive. Today, it felt like he took a step back in that area and then also got beat a few times with his off-ball defense late in the game, giving up a backdoor cut for an and one dunk. I just didn't love the game from Dadier today. So those are kind of my overall thoughts from the Knicks side of summer league action here. I mean, if just quickly on the Kings, like Keon Ellis, man, I watched the playing game last year for them. I thought he was great, and he was fantastic for the Kings today. He's going to be, I know the Kings got a lot of guys, and this is a Knicks space video, but Keon Ellis is a guy who I think is going to find his way, just getting rotation minutes for the Kings and a guy who will be around for a long time. So that's why I thought overall thoughts, I guess, Knicks versus Kings summer league game. I'll be back Friday to give a live breakdown after that game as well, and just covering the Knicks, Duke basketball, and just overall, talent, whether that's the NBA draft or college basketball transfers on this channel. So please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time. Peace.